Hey, TikTok, Jim Malone here, coming to you live on Dallas Trading Floor. It is Tuesday, the 21st of July, and I hope everybody out there is having a good day so far. I know I certainly am, so just wanted to get to it. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, goodness, my equipment here is not doing the best. There we go. There we go. Okay. So, anyways, interesting day. Market is kind of, I don't know. It seems like it's moving somewhat in the right direction. Doesn't seem like there's really a lot of change since yesterday. But let's go over it here. The market direction is a little bit down today. You have the Nasdaq falling off a little bit. It's still above the 1050 level. But it's off about 0.1%, so not a whole lot. But the S&P 500 is up, the Dow Jones is up. So we seem to be the Dow Jones and the S&P seem to be catching up, and the Nasdaq seems to be moving a little bit lower. Kind of interesting the way that that's working out as well. So let me kind of show you kind of where the charts are before we get into the questions. And really, here we go. The Spider, now this is the largest ETF in the world. It's about $220 billion. A lot of people have their retirement funds in this. So this tends to be a very big deal. It's currently up just slightly. This is basically the Fortune 500 companies that you have in here. I'm showing you the daily chart. It made a nice bounce off the 40-day moving average, and it's continuing up. So it seems to be in a trading range. Really going up to about the 330 level and then down to about 310. So it's kind of moving along that line. Seems to be fairly stable. We have relatively low volume today. It seems like things are holding pretty well for earnings season. We do have a number of major earnings coming up today. United Airlines is going to be announcing. Don't expect that United Airlines will be doing too well. Because the airline business, of course, is very impacted, and is not quite where it was, just even a little bit of time ago. So I hope you guys are not in the airlines. You want to be really careful when you're dealing with airlines. I was going to put together a bear call spread on United Airlines that would favor it moving lower. I do believe that United Airlines is going to be moving lower. Because I don't think they have the traffic. Their revenues were off tremendously, and I think the second quarter is just going to be more of the same. So I hope that you're not in any of the airlines. I think it's a very impacted area of the market and quite difficult to make money in. So if you're long, I don't think it would be a good place to be in that particular thing. So let's look at the Qs. The Qs are off a little bit, and of course, it's the Nasdaq 100. This is the 100 largest stocks that are traded in the Nasdaq, and many of the very best stocks and the best technology stocks are in this, index, like Microsoft, Amazon, stocks like that. Really, all the best ones are in the Qs. This has kind of been, at least in this market rally, this has been sort of where the money has been moving in the market. It's been moving into the Qs. It's at 266.07. Really, it seems to be settling right about the 250 level in a range up to about 250 on to up to about 270. We'll see how this is going. It's still not back to where it was prior to the latter part of February when the market started to reverse. But it's still quite good. It's still moving higher. The trend is up. This is a good chart, and I do think right now you want to be very, very careful with your investments. You don't want to be short anything in the overall market. Right now, it is a time to be long, and the reason that it is because of the overall market direction. Let me show you that chart right now. The trend of the market is up. It's hard to believe it, but it's true. The trend of the market is up, and so you don't want to be short the market right now. So be very careful, and we want to be long the market. Now, it's getting a little bit oversold. There's some issues. It's getting a little bit harder to buy things in the right pattern. I didn't buy anything today. I am sort of waiting for some stocks to set up. I am currently in Tesla. We'll have earnings tomorrow on Tesla. And Tesla has backed off a little bit. I have a call on it. I sold a 1460 call with expiration on the 24th. That's Friday. Anticipating, it may pull back a little bit. I don't expect Tesla to pull back more than about 1350. That would be the low I would think that it would pull back to, or it may move higher. But I do think it's probably not going to continue on the kind of the ascent that it's been on. So I do think we're going to see a little bit of pullback in the market, and that's why I have a call option on my holdings right now. So let's get to it. We have one comment. Hey, thanks. All right. Microsoft earnings are tomorrow. Should I pull out before them? Do you agree? You know what? In this kind of market, because we're sort of at a stage in this market, Kiam, I think we're in a stage in the market where I think it would be wise if you sold your shares before the earnings. I don't think they're going to be stellar. I mean, I think Microsoft is going to be very good, but I don't think it's going to be stellar. And I think you should take your profits off the table now. I think what's going to happen is even if they have a good earnings report, and I think they will, I think you're going to see a little bit of a pullback in Microsoft. So what I would do is I would sell it. I would wait to readjust and then possibly climb back in after earnings. I just think that right now, because of the situation with a lot of the pardon the French, a lot of the shit's starting to hit the fan not with Microsoft, but with other companies that are in the economy, in some of the transportation issues and some of the real estate issues. We're starting to see some difficulty. So I think that would be a wise idea. Would be possibly to pull back a little bit here and sell before the earnings, and then if the earnings are good, yes, you might give up a little bit, but I don't think you're going to give up a lot with Microsoft. I just don't, and I think you can get right back in. It's a quality stock. It's just the question is what's happening in the rest of the market. Okay, you like selling calls and puts and collecting premium? You betcha. I sure do. The reason I like to sell calls and I like to sell puts is because that's kind of guaranteed income. It's sort of like renting out your stock. Now, are you always right? No, I'm not always right. But you know what? I always like to go into a position with typically buying 100 shares, and then I will sell a call, typically a weekly call with a short expiration. Why? Because I can be wrong. I get the entries wrong all the time. This gives me a little bit of downside protection. And in addition to selling the call and collecting the premium, I always set a stop loss at 8% below where I bought it. So remember, always do this. If you come into a stock and you're going long on a stock, you're buying 100 shares, multiply that number that you paid for it times 0.92, and that's going to give you the number where you want to set your stop loss, and set it good till cancel, GTC, so and a market order, so that if it pulls back, you're not going to get stuck with a loss. You don't want to get stuck with a loss, but sometimes you get into them wrong, and you just want to get out as quickly as you can. It's kind of frustrating sometimes. You're going to get stopped out, but I think that it's better to be safe than sorry, because you can always come back into a stock. It's the catastrophic losses that you want to you want to protect against. I hear all these horror stories. People come to me all the time saying that they lost 30-40% of their 30-40% of the value of their portfolios, and I say, why? How is that? How do you do that? And I always find out, and this is every time, they never set a stop loss. So what I like to do when I buy it, and I recommend this highly, when you buy something, set that stop loss, because it can be the difference between having a portfolio and not so much. So that's what I like to say on this. Okay, great. What do you think about Tesla's? What do you think Tesla's next move is? I do think we're going to see a bit of a pullback in Tesla stock. Now, I could be very wrong on this because Tesla is coming up tomorrow, and it's a big deal. I want to show you. I think I have a Tesla chart that I want to show you that's annotated. Let's see if I can pull that up here really quickly for you. Let's see if I can pull up the Tesla chart so we can see that together. And this is an annotated chart, so this will give you an idea of kind of what we're talking about here. Yes, very much so. Okay, great. I'm going to pull and I'm going to show you this chart here. And by the way, for everybody that's watching on that's watching on TikTok, I love if you want to see these charts. Unfortunately, I can't broadcast them on TikTok at the same time. I've got to broadcast them on some other platforms. I'm on YouTube, youtube.com/Dallas Trading Floor, and also I think a really great platform also that's specifically formatted for the handheld devices is Periscope, pscp.tv/Dallas Trading Floor. And I'm going to just show you this chart here. It's kind of a heavily marked up chart. Now, the last pivot that we had on Tesla was actually came out to $1,027.58. I don't know if you remember the charts that I was putting up saying basically I thought that the pivot was about 1,000 on this. So I was a little bit off. I was off about $27, but and that's when it took its rise up here. Now, with these earnings, I think we're going to come down to something a little bit below $1,500. I'm looking basically at it to come down after earnings to about $14.60 in that range. That's kind of where I'm looking for it to be in that about range. That's why I have a call at that level for Friday. So I do think that it just depends on how they report. I do think the report is going to be good, but I do think there's going to be a small loss in Tesla. And I do believe if that is the case, we're going to see it weaken a little bit, but it's going to continue up. It's overall it's bullish, but I think in the short term we're going to see it adjust a little bit because stocks just cannot come up at this kind of an angle. It's just too much for any stock. So I do think we're going to see it adjust down a little bit to a more normal pattern, which would be about the 1,400, 1,450 line for Tesla. So that's what I'm anticipating for tomorrow on Tesla. But I still think it's great stock, and I'm in it, by the way. So, I think it's pretty good. Okay, about Tesla's move. Thoughts on KL? Again, this is another stock that I've recommended. This is, by the way, a Canadian gold. This is a Canadian gold company, and it's very toply rated. I want to show you the marked up chart that I have on KL, just so you can see it. Here we go. As you can see, there was a large cup handle formation that basically broke out in May, and then we have a cup without handle. There is a buy point at 44.01. It's currently trading at 48.20, so it's extended, which is a little bit. The volume is up. I'm very bullish on this, but I do think that we ought to wait until we adjust back down. I think we're going to see it possibly. It possibly could break out of here, but don't buy it immediately. Well, actually, don't buy it immediately, but we do see a breakout happening. So I think this is a watch list, and I do think if you're going to see some continued strength, if we see tomorrow and the next day with a with heavy volume, I think it's a buy. I really do. But the thing is, wait until it's confirmed with heavier volume. I do think that this is moving higher. The chart patterns say it is moving higher, and I do think that is the case. And it's up today, $1.96, or basically. And also, this is this thing that you must look at that I think is very bullish. Not only is it up, but we have a volume up, and it has an excellent chart pattern. So I'm very, very high on KL. as a stock. I think that a lot of people are getting fearful with all this money being pumped into the economy that we might have some inflation towards the end of the year. And I think that's why they're going into the gold stocks. Also, the level of gold at 1880 looks like it's going to get breached. So I think KL might be very, very good. I think you're going to be very pleased with being in KL. I think it's a good stock, and I think you're going to see some good, so you're going to see some good movement on that. Let's look at this next one. Thanks, June. I so appreciate it. You have great questions. WRTC. Let's take a quick look at WRTC, and I can show you. Interesting chart. Wrap Technologies is off a little bit today. Let's take a look at the screen here. Let's see if I can show any. Okay, we've got a little bit of weakness here with the volume. I wouldn't probably buy this one, and I'll tell you why. It's just because I think that there's better opportunities out there with other stocks. This one's a little bit weak on its overalls. It's only 74 with a composite rating, which is good, but it's not great. I like to buy them 80 or better on that. So the relative strength looks very nice at 98, but it's seen this large fall off here. I wouldn't buy this. I would wait until it's moved at least above 14 before I would buy it. It's currently at 1185. So I don't think a buy on this one right away. I can't recommend it, but I really appreciate the question. So let's see from TikTok. Let's see if I can get a decent. There you go. My stand here is sort of broken, unfortunately. Okay, here we go. Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate it. What do you think about Microsoft earnings? Well, let's look at the Microsoft chart. And by the way, for everybody that's on TikTok, I am actually simulcasting this on Periscope, pscp.tv/Dallas Trading Floor. So let's look at the Microsoft chart and let's look at the earnings. I think Microsoft earnings are going to be good. But I don't, and I want to show you the Microsoft chart. This is an annotated chart for Microsoft, basically showing you that the last buy point here for Microsoft was 187.61, and then we moved up from there. It's consolidating a little bit here. I do think that we want to be careful. If you're holding Microsoft right now, I think it's a good idea to possibly sell your position. It's moving down a little bit before earnings. It's 208. If you have profits, take them now, and then possibly wait, and then after earnings, possibly come back into it. I do think we're seeing a little bit of weakness in Microsoft, so it might be a good time to take your profits if you have them now, and then once we have confirmation on what my earnings are going to be, and I don't think they're going to be bad. I think the Microsoft earnings are going to be good. But I would recommend taking your profits now. What is an ideal? Oh, interesting. What is an ideal buying price for Amazon? Good question. Wow. I haven't been in Amazon. It's a little bit rich for my blood, but it is a awesome stock. So let's take a look at the Amazon chart here. Let me pull that up right now. Here we go. Amazon, the last major buy point on Amazon was 25.25.55, which is a long time ago because it's trading for 31.27.35. So it was definitely a while ago, but it looks like it's consolidating a little bit here. It is above the 21-day moving average. Now, by the way, the black line here is the 200-day. This is the 50-day, the red one, and then we have the 21-day. That's the daily chart. So let's move to the weekly chart, and that's going to be a little bit different. That's not going to have some of the annotations as many, but we have a cup handle, cup, and then we're extended off the cup. This is not a good time to buy Amazon. We want to see some more. We want to see a basing pattern here. We don't have it. The last base pattern that we had was basically at the end of March, early June. Now it did have a cup without handle at that point, but right now we don't have a base pattern, unfortunately. We do have a 3-week tight entry point though, which is 52, which is 25.25. But the problem is we're way behind. We're way past the 25.25 entry point. I couldn't recommend coming into it right now. I couldn't recommend you coming in to Amazon right now. I don't think it would work for you. It may go up, but I do believe that it's a little bit risky if you were to come in you were extended off of the alternate buy point. So that's kind of my take on it. I don't think that it's a good entry point for Amazon. Now, and also Amazon is quite an expensive stock. I think the way to play this is probably with options and not with the underlying stock at this point, just because of the price. Okay, so my ideal price on this, my ideal entry is 25, 25, 55. And unfortunately, we're above that, so I don't have a price for you now on this ideal. But the ideal basically was about June 15th, and it was a 25.25 level. It's at 31.34 right now, so typically just a little bit too high to buy this bad boy, unfortunately. Okay, so would you buy back a put getting 50% with 2 months left on the contract? Yes, I would. I think that we're going to see. I think we're going to see a little bit of a reversal here in the market. I'm getting that feeling. It's just a hunch on my part at this point, and I think that you really just have to. I think now is a very good time to take profits. On Friday, I'm probably going to be taking profits on Tesla. I'm probably going to be taking, depending on how it reports, I'm going to be taking profits on my position in Netflix. I'm going to be, and probably Teladoc. So I am taking profits now, and I think it would be a good time to take profits if you have them. I just think the market's going to get a little bit more choppy. It's a little bit more extended right now, and I don't quite know what's going to happen. We're still in an uptrend, but I think we have to be careful at this point. Okay, Regenerex, RGNX, good company. Let's see if I can get some information on RGNX. RGNX. So, yeah, Regenerex Bio. Okay, nice. Let's look at the chart. I'm going to pull this up. By the way, you'll see this chart here in just a second. There we go. All right. Okay, so let's take a look. This is a relatively, I'm showing you the monthly chart here. This is pretty significantly downtrending. This is what I don't like about this chart overall. If you can see, I don't like to buy charts like this, and I'll tell you why I don't like to buy charts like this. I want to see this hit a new high. That means it's got to be above 81, and I don't see it right now. I mean, this chart tells me that we have a long way to go before we're at a higher high. So I couldn't be bullish on this one, even though it's up today 28 cents. I can't be bullish on this. This is what I'm viewing this from a purely technical standpoint. I mean, they may have some great stuff in the pipeline, the drug pipeline, but from a purely technical standpoint, this is not a buy. This is not a buyable chart at the point because it's trending in the wrong direction. So, and I know it's a gene therapy company, but you might want to look at CRISPR. Let me give you an alternative here. Which has a good chart, CRSP, CRISPR Technologies, CRISPR Therapeutics. This is a Swiss company, and I want to show you this chart, and I'll show you why you should look at this chart as opposed to Regenerex. Take a look at the direction of the chart. It's moving from the lower left-hand corner to the upper right-hand corner. This is the kind of chart you want to buy. It's at a higher high right now. It's also at a composite rating of 90. That's excellent. Anything above 80 you want to consider. It's also up $20 today. It's currently at 93.66. This is an excellent company, and it's not only is it higher, but it's higher on heavy volume. This is the kind of company that you want to buy. I mean, seriously, this is the company you want to buy. So if you have a notepad, you might want to write this one down, CRISPR, CRSP. And I've covered this one before in my on my show, CRISPR Therapeutics. I think it's an excellent company, and I do think it's going higher. The question is when. You never know, but there you go. All right. Any thoughts on the buy points for OKTA? I don't know if I have buy points on OTTKA, but let's just see if I do. I can calculate them, but I haven't calculated it for this particular issue. So let's see if I can give you something decent here. OKTA. Oh, well, it would help if I spell it right. OKTA. Let's see what happens here. All right, great. Wow, look at that. Wow, there isn't really a buy point on it, but this is a cool chart. Let me show you this chart here. Thanks so much. I really like your questions. Thank you for watching me today. This is the chart. This is the monthly chart. Now, I always look at the monthly chart first because I want to get the overall direction. This is an extremely steep ascent. I don't like. I be careful when you buy charts like this because it's such a strong ascent that it may readjust down a little bit, but right now it is on fire and it has got some very good, nice accumulation here. Let's look at the weekly chart. I'm looking at the monthly chart, but let's look at the weekly chart here. Yeah, this is a beautiful chart. This is a beautiful chart. It doesn't have a base, unfortunately. I would wait until this comes into a base, but this is a very, very buyable chart. It's 93 composite rating, very, very nice. Okay, let me take a look at the daily chart on it to see. Yeah, it's above, and I would buy it right. I wouldn't buy it today because it's down. It's down $2.06. You don't want to buy it on a downtick ever, but wait until this thing moves into an uptick. I think you have a winner if it closes above the 21-day line, and it's right at the 21-day line. So this is a very, very good chart. OKTA, thank you so much for sharing that with us because that's a very good chart. As a matter of fact, I'm going to write this down. I'm not familiar with the company, but based on the technicals, it looks like a winner. It looks like a winner chart. So based on the technicals. All right. So let's see on TikTok. Any thoughts on NAK? Let me look at NAK. I don't know NAK. NAK. Northern Dynasties Minerals. This is okay. This is a tough one. I want to know more about it. It's on the Amex. This is a mining stock. Mining stocks are notoriously hard to evaluate because it just depends on so much what the geologist reports. This has really run up a lot. I wonder what their weekly. Let's look at their weekly chart. It's kind of all over the place, but it is at higher highs. This is a very, very cheap stock. This is $2.14. I probably wouldn't buy this one only because I don't know anything about it. And at this price, under $10, it's just very tough. Now, I do present under $10 stocks on my show, but typically they're at least $5. And this just is too cheap to buy right now. I would watch list this one. It's got an 84 composite rating. That's very good. The chart isn't horrible, but it isn't stellar either. On this one, I would watch list this one. I can't give you a buy on this one, but it's certainly not a never buy. It's a watch list. It's a watch list on that. So that's how I would look at it. Jim's best hidden secret. Thanks, man. Have you ever thought about trading Forex? Well, I don't trade Forex because I'm doing quite well just trading, just trading stocks and options really. But I definitely think Forex can be very good for the people that are good at it. I just don't like competing against governments, and that's sort of what you're doing when you're in the currency markets. But you can do very, very well. So I'm not hating on it at all. It's just my expertise is more in the equity area than it is. That is there. All right. Buy point on Twilio, another really good stock, by the way. I really like Twilio. TWLO is the symbol. So let's bring that up here. And I'm going to show you the annotated chart on Twilio so we can kind of get a read on it. Oops. So let me go over there and show you that chart on Twilio. Here we go. The buy point on Twilio basically was in December, and the buy point was 88.98. That was the buy point. It moved up for that, and then it retraced a little bit. And there was strong action in mid-June. It gapped up. That's tremendous. It seems like it's trying to find its. I would wait on this one a little. This is a watch list. It's oh God, this might be a buy in about the 230 range, but it's trading at 264. It's up 2187. You probably don't mind. I don't know if you want to buy it this extended. This is a tough one. This is a very good stock. This is a good chart too. And let me just see kind of what it's looking like intraday. Yeah, it's hanging right at that 260 level. Wow. Okay. The volume's a little bit lower. Well, I definitely this is definitely a good chart, but it's run up so far so fast that I don't know. This is run up basically from, in June, this was at 120. It's now trading at 260. Ooh, I don't know. That's a little bit fast for me. I do think it's going to I think it may be a little bit ahead of itself. This is a little bit of a vertical chart, but it's a great company. I wouldn't buy this one at this level. I would, and I don't normally recommend people buying pullbacks, but I would wait to see what this one does, and let it form a basing pattern. It hasn't formed a pattern yet, so I couldn't recommend buying this one right at this level. It's just a little bit too rich based on its ascent. Not that it's a bad chart though. Not that it's a bad chart at all. So definitely watch list this one. I wouldn't buy this one. It's just a little bit too rich right now. QDEL, another great stock. Let's see if they can find a good entry point for you on QDEL. Wow. Okay. So hard to do this. This has run up so much. It's tough when they get away from you like this. See if it forms a handle here at about 210, 215. It's down a little bit today at 258. It's gonna come off a little bit out. It's up after hours. Wow. Did they just report? Let's see if they just reported. Yeah, this is strong after hours. Wow. Okay, on the 30th. Okay, these people report on the 30th. If you're not in it already, I don't think I'd want it. Well, you can really make some money if it reports on the 30th, which is basically 9 days from now. So it's very bullish. Yeah, I don't know. I think that you might be able to make a quick pop on this one on QDEL. It's really pretty high though. I'd like to see it pull back a little bit before I'd buy this, but very, very good stock. Very, very good stock. Oh, and let me answer your question. When's a good time to enter this stock? You know what? I would wait until this thing reports. I would look to buy this one on August 1st. Now, I know that's going to be, I know that you don't want to buy higher, but see how this thing reports. See how QDEL reports. And if it reports well, it's gonna get good support. So basically, wait until this thing reports. Don't buy it before earnings. But this is a winner, and I think that it may go actually even higher. So thank you for that. LRN. Let's see if I can give you a good on LRN. LRN. I'm going to look at the weekly chart. Really nothing there. 46.81. Okay, because as soon as I don't even know what this company does, to be honest with you. but I'm going to show you the chart on it. It's moved up a lot. Is this a Chinese company? I can't tell. Provides online curriculum to in 50 states. Okay, well, this is an awful crowded space. The chart is mediocre at best. It's a good chart. It's gapped up, but let's look at the monthly chart on it. Well, okay, it's buyable. It's in a buyable range. It's above. It's a higher high. So, and it's definitely had a very nice gap up in terms of volume. The intraday chart on that. This might be buyable actually. It doesn't have a really great. This is not a really easy to buy chart. I'd watch this and we'll see how this one does. I couldn't recommend to buy it. It doesn't have a base right now, but this is a watch list, I think. All right. KHC. Let's look at KHC real quick. KHC. All right. Kraft Heinz. No. Oh goodness. FYI, this is a little personal note. My grandfather actually was a salesman for Heinz. This is back, basically in the horse and buggy days. No, I mean actually in the horse and buggy days. Can't buy this chart. This is a classic. I want you to take a look at this chart. This is a classic value trap. Okay, everybody says, "Wow, Kraft Heinz." I've heard of Kraft. I've heard of Heinz. They're great stuff. But you know what? This is a downward trending chart. This is the past, not the future. Now, I like some Kraft stuff and I like some Heinz stuff. I think their 57 sauce is great. I always buy Heinz stuff when I'm in the store because my grandfather sold it. But for the future, this is not the future. This is the past. It's true it's taken a little bit of a bounce. This is in consumer staples. I could not buy this one. Buy their product, not their stock. That's the thing about Kraft. So thank you very much for sharing that. I think that's interesting, though. That's the thing. Many times you have these stocks that are just household names that just are not viable. They're just not good anymore, but they're still companies. And it's called a value trap where you buy it and then it just goes lower and lower and lower. And I think that's kind of the situation with Kraft Heinz. I think if you bought this in a year, you would have about a negative 8% return on it. So I don't think it's really where you want to be. You want to be with the future, not with the past. LRCX buy points. Let's see if I can find a buy point for LRCX. LRCX. Lam Research, top company. Wow. Oh, this is a hard one to buy. Oh, this is such a good stock, though. This is the one you want to own. You want to own this one. This is a quality stock. And I personally know that we're in a super cycle for the semiconductor industry. So Applied Materials, Lam Research, KLA, all the ones in the equipment group, they're all good. Let's see when they report. I report on the 29th. Here's the thing. If this thing reports strong, I think you might want to buy it. I think you might want to buy it if you like these kind of stocks. I wouldn't buy it before it reported. It's just too much risk. Look at that. After it was up today 10, it's after hours is up 50 cents. Good company. I'd want to buy it. Yeah, it definitely looks like it is in a buy range. It's going to retrace a little bit from this number. It's going to pull back just slightly, and when it does, that's when you want to buy it. I would say that if this thing pulls down to about 340, then you're going to see it spring upward even further. This could be a $400 or $500 stock in by the end of the year. I don't know if you can't guarantee anything, but I think this is quality, and I definitely think don't buy it before the earnings. Wait for the earnings. Earnings for Lam are the 29th, which is coming up, and then if it's still strong, you might want to consider buying this one. This is a good chart, and it's a good company. So Snapchat. Thanks, Arnold. I hope things are well with you out in beautiful sunny California, my former home. So Snap. Let's see if I can give you a something on Snap here. All right, Snap. Okay, it's getting into the buy range. Absolutely. It's not quite there yet. This is a watch list stock, but it is definitely in the buy range. And how do I know that? Well, if you look here, and I'm going to show you this on the chart, it really needs to go beyond 28.72 in terms of price before it is really in the buy range, but it's almost there. It doesn't have a beautiful chart, but it's not a bad chart. If you'll notice, the 40 days above the 200-day, that's very bullish. It's got a 95. It's got a relative strength of 95. Snap might be a winner at about. I probably wouldn't buy this before it hit about 29.12. And I also want to see what's going to happen with. It's going to report today, so let it report. Let Snap report. If it's a good report, it's probably going to go up. If it reports well and you see an uptick tomorrow, that's the thing. Uptick is the key. Then I think you might want to pile in for a movement up. I think this looks like it's going to move. Nope, it's moving down. So probably don't want to do that. Always, before any of my recommendations, always check before you dive into the pool, because check to see. Always buy in an uptick. Buy an upward trending chart. Buy in an uptick on the tick. So right now it's on a down tick after hours. Wait until it reports. Wait and see what happens after it reports. It may reverse depending on how it reports. I don't know if they're going to report, but it looks as if they have a negative report. So you may not want to buy this one, unfortunately. But I do like it overall. So I wouldn't buy it before you know what that report is, and only buy it on an uptick. So be really careful. But all consumer staple stocks rallied as a whole from the COVID March days. Yes, they did. But you know what? the COVID-19 rally is over with. Everybody has stocked up on toilet paper. The Kimberly Clarks of the world now are going to go back to sleep. Not a good time. You want to be where you want to be is with the future. The future is online, and the future is in electric cars and in other categories like this, and in some of the healthcare stocks. Consumer staples are a safe harbor only. And I don't even like them for that. I think the ultimate safe harbor is, why go to a safe harbor where you can possibly get sunk in the harbor? Why not go to cash where you can't? So my safe harbor is cash, not with the consumer staples. And they've gone up because that's what everybody tells you on CNBC, that has these mega portfolios which have lots and lots of dogs with fleas, and they want to tell you that they're good, like Kraft Heinz is in that category. And so they say, well, yeah, consumer staples, everybody needs them. That is true, but there's an awful lot of competition, and the margins are not so hot. So I wouldn't be where I'd want to be in that. Teladoc and audio. I think you'd be in audio cuts. Good long term. It's like 5 over the excessive of the growth. It's a good question. I think that they are fairly good midterm holds. I'm in both of these names. I'm in both Teladoc and in audio codes. Now, I'm in audio codes only as a bull call spread. That's it. I'm not in it. I don't have the underlying stock in audio codes. Now, Teladoc, I have the underlying stock, and I have sold an option. I may be out of that as soon as Friday, but I do think they're both good. I think they both move to the right in this COVID thing. They're both potentially very good. Audio Codes primarily, it's an Israeli company that primarily deals in voice over IP, which has to do with the internet and the Internet of Things. So I think that's a tremendously moving market moving up. Teladoc is going to be huge. Now, the thing about Teladoc is they don't have a huge moat. There's going to be a lot of companies that are going to be in this Teladoc space, but I think Teladoc has the first mover advantage, And I think telemedicine is here to stay, because why go in to why go into an office if you can get online with your iPhone and you can get a prescription? I think this is just a no-brainer. It's gonna change healthcare. I think Teladoc and companies like it are gonna be huge. Now, here's the thing about Teladoc: they don't really have a moat. You're going to see companies like McKesson and other big healthcare companies probably get into the space, but right now they do have the lead, and I do think that they are a winner. This is my only concern with Teladoc in 5 years, is I think there's going to be a heck of a lot of competition in this space, but I do think the space is super good, and that's one of the reasons I'm in the stock. So there you go. Thank you very much. Okay, so thoughts on Shopify. Again, this is a stock that I love Shopify. I wish that I had an unlimited budget to buy Shopify, because Shopify, basically, it's Amazon, and then everybody else is using Shopify. I want to show you this chart. It's terrific on Shopify. And I have an annotated chart here so that we can take a look at it together. I wish they would split the stock. I think it's really, really good. The last buy point on it was at 600. It's trading at 952.83 right now. It's up $24.70 today. This is just stellar. Now, here's one issue. I do believe that we are potentially we potentially gotten a little bit ahead of itself. I do think that we're going to have a bit of a pullback, but I don't think we're going to have much of one. Let me look at the daily chart to see if I can. Yeah, we had a little bit of a pullback. We had a little bit of a pullback today, below the 21-day average, the 21-day line. I do think that you want to wait until this thing settles. I think it's probably going to settle. I think it's probably going to settle at about the 916 level, and then I think we're going to see it move higher. But it definitely is getting a little bit ahead of itself. But it's a terrific stock, and I think that long term it's going to be very, very nice stock. And if you've been in it, I'm sure that you're pretty happy that you've been in it, because it's really great. Lots of call buying on Snap. That's interesting. Yeah, well, let's look at Snap again. Yeah, that's when there's lots of call buying, typically that's a very, very bullish sign. Yeah, I can see why there's a lot of call buying on it too. Let me look at the weekly chart here. Let's we were looking at this before, so let's revisit it. This is the weekly chart on Snap. Yeah, okay. When's the earnings on this one? It's today. Okay, here's the thing. If this thing reports well tomorrow, it's going to go up, and I can't really. No, it's gone down a little bit after hours. See what the report is. See how it reports. I think it's going to report pretty good looking at this. If you have an uptick tomorrow, you might want to put this one in your portfolio. It's not that expensive. It's $24.78. It's really not a great buy point here. It's not a classic buy point, but it is a higher high, and it is a higher high on this one. So, yeah, this might be one you want to put in your portfolio for a while. I could see buying this one tomorrow, but only if it reports well. I haven't looked at the report on Snap yet, but it's a higher high. That's a very, very bullish sign, and the calls are bullish. Those are two very good signs. DraftKings, DKNG. I love DraftKings and Penn National Gaming. They're both kind of cool online gaming plays, but let's look at DraftKings best. I think DraftKings is a little better company than Penn National. Let's take a quick look at DraftKings. Yeah, and DraftKings is essentially a recent IPO. Wow, it's up strong. Let's just look at DraftKings here. If you want to take a flyer, this one might not be a bad. If you're into buying IPOs, and I don't buy as many IPOs as I used to. It's just limited in terms of my capital, but this has got an awesome relative strength at 98. It's got a nice pattern. This is going to go higher. It's reporting on the 12th of August. So the reporting is coming up. It's got some nice, strong accumulation there. Yeah, this one, I like DraftKings. Definitely, I'm going to put this on my watch list. DraftKings, DKNG. And I think with this COVID thing, a lot of people that want to be in sports, they really don't have any place to go. I mean, you can go to Vegas, but it's a major pain. DraftKings is pretty cool in that area, so I do think that's great. Now, Penn National Gaming is a little bit more constrained because they actually do have real casinos, and right now the casino business is not so hot, but it's up too. So let me show you that chart as well. There you go. And it's not bad. Out of these two, if I was going to go between Penn National Gaming and DraftKings, I think I would go DraftKings. I just think that even though it's a newer stock, I think that it sort of is in the vanguard of online gaming. So I think the better of the two is DraftKings. Let me just take a quick look to see if I can get a read on that. So I'm very interested in this area as well. So I'm going to look at DraftKings as well versus Penn National Gaming, DKNG. Oops. KNG. DraftKings. I'm going to go to a little bit more annotated. Yeah, here we go. Let me show you this one. Now, for investment grade, it really is an investment grade, but this is a kind of a cool stock. It's only a 66 composite rating, but it is moving up very quickly in the rankings. So let me look out how DraftKings ranks in the online gaming leisure equipment area. Let me just see how it ranks. Okay. So this is the number one in the category. Go back here. The number one in the category is Churchill Downs, which we all know from horse racing. So that's very cool. DraftKings is number 4. So let me see how that, let me see what that comes up here. DraftKings is number 4. Just have to think. Yeah, let me compare it against the other ones here. With DraftKings being number 4. Yeah, Penn National Gaming. Yeah, it's just as I thought. DraftKings is a little bit better than Penn National Gaming in terms of the rankings. Boyd Gambling and the GIN. I don't know GIN, but I know Churchill Downs. Right now, Churchill Downs is the number 1 pick in this particular sector. But I like DraftKings. I like DraftKings better than Penn National Gaming at this point. So that's my opinion on that. 10 cents. 10 cents. Chinese stock. I'm not typically into Chinese stocks that much. But let me get a read on Tencent here, Tencent Holdings. And this is an ADR. So this is yeah, there we go. Oh, it's up nicely. Okay. Let me pull it up on the screen so we can see this is 10 cent, and this is, a Shenzhen-based, Chinese-based company that has a lot of in the gaming space. It's very good. Provider of internet and mobile. I don't know if I would be in this one just because I don't trust their books. I don't necessarily think this is a luck and coffee, but you could be somewhat. This could create some difficulty here for you. Let's see. We're up. Yeah. Okay. This. No, I can't recommend 10 cents. Sorry, I cannot recommend that as a stock today. So let me take some more off of TikTok, thank you so much for thoughts on Corvo. Is that Corvo? QNVONVO? I don't know that one. Fasco, Neo. Okay, here's the thing about Neo. In the electric vehicle space, I really think that there's only one leader, and that's Tesla, and then everything else is not so much. But if you had to choose a second place, it would be Neo. So I'm going to put up a quote for Neo here so we can see it. It's still, it's good. I mean, it's a lot cheaper than Tesla, that's for sure. But I can't be very bullish on Neo. I mean, you might be able to double your money, but here let's look at let's kind of look at the rankings based in this sector, and I think that's important. It's good. I mean, it's got a composite rating of 98, so that's Tesla. I'm sorry, pardon me. That's Tesla, not Neo. NVIDIA. So let's take a look at the chart on NVIDIA. So yeah, I can't really recommend Neo. I'm in Tesla, but not in Neo. So there you go. Let's look at NVIDIA. This is a stock that I've had many times. So NVDA. NVIDIA. I just wanted to get this one really quick. It's down today. And it's up after hours. What do you know? Okay, so let's see if I can give you a better look on NVIDIA. So let's look on leaderboard for NVIDIA. See if I can give you a annotated chart here. Yeah, wow, we got a huge annotated chart. So let's look at NVIDIA really carefully here. All right, I'm going to switch to the weekly view to start out here. Basically, we had a 4 weeks tight entry at 380. It's currently extended a lot from that at 413. It's up $5 today. The question is, when is it going to stop going up? It's on a second stage base, which is very good. I think it may base here above 400, but right now it's a little bit it's a little bit tough to buy this one. It's very extended. The buy point was 380 on NVIDIA. The buy point was 380. It is past that at 413. Super duper stock. It's got a 99 composite rating. It's industry leading. It's basically got everything going for it. If I were to buy this stock, and I may actually buy this one. This is one on my list. I would probably, if I entered this and I bought 100 shares, I would probably sell a call option just for a little bit of protection. But I do think this one's headed north, and I think this is a tremendous stock. This is just tremendous. It reports on August the 15th. So, it definitely reports on August the 15th, but it looks very, very, very strong. Now, here's the thing. It is not making a new, it is almost at a new higher high. So let's look at the intraday chart on this one to see kind of what it's doing. There's a little bit of a sell-off today at the end of the day. It looks as if this is a very usual pattern every day that people are day trading this one. There was a big sell-off today, but it was a sell. This is very bullish, by the way. This chart, it was up. It was up today on volume. Now it's off a little bit after hours. That's probably due to the day trading, but in after hours it's up again. So people are day trading this one, but it is very, very good. The problem, the only issue with NVIDIA right now is that the last major base entry was 380 on this. It's selling at 413. So it's a little bit extended. And if you were to buy this one, you would have to watch your downside a little bit on this one because it can drop. But the trend on this stock is up, and I would say it is totally a green line on this one. It is past its 282 higher high, and it has just been adding more and more. So very, very, very good stock. Very, very good stock here. So let's see. Let's take another question from, this will probably be one of my last questions here today. See, holding 10 cent since 40 last year, almost double now. Okay, Rami, take your profits because there are going to be other places in the market to go that are better. At the minimum, you should use the 20% rule. If it's up more than 20%, sell half of your position, and that's just because you just don't want to. You know, you've done extremely well. You want to put that into cash. You want to put that money into your pocket. Believe me, stocks can retreat, and then you have all that good gain that you've lost. So what I would do is I would take a little bit of your chips off the table right now, sell 50%, keep 200 shares active, keep 200 shares rolling, but sell 50%. Put that in your pocket and ride the rest up because it may go. I think Tencent probably is going to go. It's going to go higher. So, but I would be careful to. I would be helpful to guard my profit. I think that's really important to do. MX. Hey, thanks. Stock Talk. MX. Let me see if I can give a call on that. That is Megachip Semiconductor, a great company. Wow, I'm getting a lot of really good. I'm getting a lot of really good companies here. Okay, now let's take a look at the chart here. It's not a chart I would buy. Okay, and here's why. You see this red line here? This is the 40-day moving average. It's fallen below the 200-day moving average. That means it's moving lower currently. It is still a great stock, and it is up today 13 cents. So I am not trying to dog on this stock at all. I think it's great, but I don't think it's the right pattern to buy it in. I would wait until we're at about, we're a little bit higher. On MX, I would wait. Let's see, put it on your watch list. If it clears 1564, I think you got a green light to buy. But right now, I wouldn't be a buyer. I wouldn't be a buyer because it is trending lower. You never want to buy a trending lower chart. But this is such an affordable stock, and I'm somewhat familiar with it. It's a little bit low on the composite rating. It's only got a 58. So I probably wouldn't be a buyer of this stock just because of those two things. But I would watch list this stock very much. So thank you so much for that question. So appreciate it. All right. So do you think that should buy Tesla stocks right now or wait? Wait. And here's the reason you want to wait is because they're reporting. You never want to buy if it's a new buy and you're not buying off a base. You do not want to buy a stock like this into earnings. It's just too risky. Wait until after it's reported because there may be something catastrophic that happens, or it may be good as well. It's better to be safe rather than sorry. So on the Tesla, wait until it's reported. It reports tomorrow, I think, after the bell. So wait at least until Wednesday. I'm going to probably be covering Tesla tomorrow as well. I'm in the stock currently, but then again, I bought at the pivot. So I am in it at a little bit lower number than you could get right now. So wait for the report. Wait for the earnings to do that. Okay. Well, thanks again, everybody. And by the way, if you want to get my free stock alerts, and I put these out, not necessarily every day, but just go to DallasTradingFloor.com. And if you want to ask me a question, just type it in, and I try to answer all the questions. And by the way, this is subscribe to my free stock alerts. It's absolutely free at DallasTradingFloor.com. And if you're looking at me on TikTok, just go to my profile, hit the link button, and you'll be taken directly to the subscription page, and just I will get it out to you as soon as possible. And I put these out, and these are trade alerts, and typically I try to make them as actionable as possible so that you can participate in making hopefully some money. So till tomorrow at 2:30. Thanks again, everybody. I so appreciate everybody watching on TikTok, on Facebook, on Periscope, on YouTube, and on Twitch. And I will see you tomorrow.